OpenClaw has got to be one of the most popular AI agents right now, and in this video I'll be showing you guys exactly what it is, how to set it up, and more importantly how to run this on your own local models. I've seen a ton of requests for just OpenClaw, which was cool, but I've really not seen many people cover exactly how to run it on your own devices, so it doesn't need access to the internet or anything of that sort. It all can stay locally without using the cloud. There's some very interesting parts involved with this, but it's all super simple, and I can really show you how to set this up in just 5, maybe 10 minutes or so with no coding requirements. And more importantly, I'll be showing you guys step by step every single part of the journey, so do not worry, as it'll become clear in just a second. Now let's first start off with what OpenClaw really even is. As you can see right here, OpenClaw is the AI that actually does things. It can clear your inbox, it can send emails, manage your calendar, check you in for flights, all from WhatsApp, Telegram, or any chat app that you already use. It's extremely popular, or become extremely popular, over the past couple of months, and it's got a lot of people with questions as to how to actually set this up, because I've seen it being talked about everywhere. But what really is this step-by-step process? Well, let me tell you. So, all you need to run OpenClaw before we dive even further into what exactly it could do is a device to run it on. This could be a server, this could be your own computer, and for the sake of this tutorial, I'll be using my MacBook Pro. You can of course always later decide to run it on somewhere else. The tutorial is pretty much the same for any device though. The main reason that is because, as you can see right here, works everywhere, installs everything, you're welcome. All we gotta do is copy this right here, open up our terminal, and prompt it in. And just like that, as a starter, we'll have access to making this bot, this AI agent, run our X, our Obsidian, or our WhatsApp, our Slack, our Signal, our iMessage, our Claude, funnily enough, our GitHub. It will basically be able to run a crazy amount of things and has a lot of expansions upon that as well, all within a hand's grasp. Now, I'm going to change the order around a bit though. Usually, people show you just how to install OpenClaw and then use it on something like a GPT, right? GPT 5.5, something like that. And that's pretty simple. Takes just a few clicks and it's done. And I can show you that by just, literally making you prompt in this into your terminal, and it's kind of already done. You just pick whatever model you want, and that's about it. But we're gonna go through a slightly different process because, like I said, we wanna run this on our own models. And so let's do it step by step as to first get ourselves one of these models running, because it actually makes installing OpenClaw that way a bit easier as well. Let's just follow through. Matter of fact, I actually recommend you to watch this video all the way through before making any choices or before doing anything. Just watch it once to see all the different steps, and then the second time you watch it, you follow each step by step. So to get one of these models running on our own device, we're going to have to go to a website called Ollama.com. On here, we again take ourselves a little prompt, or we just press somewhere to download it. There's a button somewhere on the website. We copy this prompt right here, run it in our terminal, and we'll end up with an app that looks like this. You know how to install an app on a Mac, right? Or a Windows or Linux or whatever you're using. Once you've installed the app, it looks like this. And there's two little buttons on the top left. New chat, where again, you can open up a new chat, or launch. And the new chat feature is the one you wanna use if you wanna run a local model. Whereas the launch is just where a few very simple copy pastes are for programs that a lot of people like for example, OpenClaw or running Claude. You don't need to use any of this right here. All you need is a new chat section. Well, matter of fact, you don't need to use this one either. It's just for being able to interact with your local model, but we don't actually use it. It's just here to showcase what Ollama is all about. But this little button on the right here, this showcases which exact local models we've got running on our device. I've got Gemma 426 billion, and I've also got one Quen, but I believe it's not the Ollama version. Not too relevant for right now. All we gotta do right now is actually pick for ourselves a local model to run. If you go ahead and go to models right here, we can just type in Quen. We can pick, for example, Quen 3.5, pick one of the smaller models right here that can most likely run on any single person's device. Quen 3.5, 2 billion. You can see at 2.7 gigs, this can most likely run if you've got 4 gigabytes of RAM, extremely simple. or slightly bigger Qwen 3.5 4 billion. Again, most likely this can run on every single laptop. You'll be able to run it pretty simply. I can even run on this device Qwen 3.5 27B with no issues at all, or 35B, just depends on your hardware, but you can just Claude it, right? Just use whatever your AI you have right now, ask it exactly which model is right for your device, depending of course on the specs of your device. Get the biggest model that's possible. On the opposite side, the bigger the model, the slower it could be. So if you just want it for very simple tasks, get a smaller model. But you can tweak this as you go. It's just a simple tutorial for how to get something going. You can tweak the exact model afterwards. It's not that hard. Anyway, once you've decided which one you want to run, you just go and click on it. Here we go, for example, Qwen 3.5 2B. Quite a small model, but still works. We copy this over right there, and we again put it inside our terminal. Just once you click it, it'll download. It'll probably take like 5 minutes or so. And once that's done, it'll show up right here in the list, just like this right here, right? You could also actually officially download it from the section right here, but every single time I press it, I never know if something is happening, so I skip that. I just download it via the terminal. It's a bit easier. And again, it will show up with no more download icon on the right, and then you know you have it. And I just quickly asked it once to quickly make me a little HTML. You can see it took 30 seconds or so. This is no subscription, no requirements at all, just absolutely free. I can run this as much as I want on my computer. All it takes is my energy consumption of my computer, obviously, and computational power. Took 30 seconds to get me a fully working HTML file, and that's the nice part about it. And now, like I was talking about before, as we've now got ourselves this local model on our device, it's now time to get OpenClaw to start working with one of these local models, the one that we just picked, for example. And instead of using the one-liner on OpenClaw itself, you can also use the button right here within Ollama that says Ollama launch OpenClaw. You copy that and you can use that again to get OpenClaw on your device. What you're gonna have to do is go back to the terminal and insert it. Like I said, you just open one terminal. I'm using Warp here for my terminal, but it doesn't really matter. You could just type in terminal on your Mac to get it. We just press enter. It'll ask you, since it's not installed, if you want to install it with an NMP. You press yes, and it'll quickly go ahead and install it on its own. Again, you could have just clicked this through any way, shape, or form. You can also just type in the one on OpenClaw. It's all basically the same thing. It'll know what to do. So if you follow through with those steps and you already installed OpenClaw by running this in your terminal earlier, you don't have to do it right now. If you didn't, well, go ahead and copy this, run it in your terminal, because there's two parts, right? One is to get OpenClaw, one is to get these models running. Once you've got this inside your terminal, if you throughout anywhere in the process encounter any sort of error, maybe because of packages already on your device, copy a small part of it and run it in some AI like Claude or ChatGPT. It'll know exactly what's wrong to make you install it in an easier fashion, because I can't from here read what your error is going to be. And there's a ton of different things that could be wrong, most likely very simple fixes, but an AI is probably gonna know best. And if you already had Ollama, right, with one of your models running here locally, you can actually also ask it in there if you want to. But like I said, any sort of issue that you come across, paste it into ChatGPT, paste it into Claude, and it'll come up with something like, hey, perhaps it's this issue. Try this, try this, try this. Here, for example, if you have some sort of permission issue, if you wanted to fix that on your own, could be kind of awkward, right? But the AI will know in a very easy manner. And that was actually the main steps to getting OpenClaw running on your device. We of course are going to have to go through some slightly more steps as to how to install it. Here it says, hey, how do you want to set this up? Quick start, manual, import from Claude. You can pick. But if we now open a new terminal tab and we insert our earlier prompt of Ollama launch OpenClaw, press enter, you can actually find that in here now already, we can find something pretty beautiful, because what we can find in here is a launch for OpenClaw that also already, just in its own, has whatever open model we installed on our device. Like I said before, I have Gemma 426B, and so through this method, I can actually launch OpenClaw running on one of my own models here. And again, you have to go through the process of actually running OpenClaw. You're gonna get some security warnings, etc., etc. But that's right there, us scrolling through that little list, the way to get this running on one of our open models or one of our local models. If you're stuck at that previous first screen and you actually, wanted to continue on with the installation the normal way, what you're gonna have to do is just go press the quick start, go through this model list and pick whatever provider you want. I would go with Ollama just for the sake of easiness. Then you pick if you want to see all the cloud and local models, only the cloud or only local models. And in this case, for the sake of our tutorial, we're going to, of course, go for local only. And now that I'm thinking about it, there's so many cool things you can actually do with this. There's so many different things I want to make you guys install just to make your workflow easier, look better, and things of that sort. Anyway, in that install that we were doing on our left tab, because like I said, I have two, right? One is where the prompt was really simple. One was where we had to go through a bit of a bigger loop, but it's all pretty much the same. Right now, I just told it to show me all the models if it wants me to, but hey, I would just say if you already installed OpenClaw with the steps I just showed you, just type in the Ollama launch OpenClaw or copy it from in Ollama. It'll guide you through all the steps that you're gonna have to go through. It's a bit easier. And as you can see right here, it gives us no error. I thought for a second maybe something was gonna pop up, but it doesn't. And it says right here, connect a channel or messaging app right now. I can press yes by pressing enter in this. And it then goes ahead and gives me different options for things I can connect it to. OpenClaw here, you can see I can connect it to 1,001 different things. Then our next step is again to decide exactly what type of channel we want to give it. For example, either WhatsApp or some sort of Telegram or whatever, right? You can decide this for yourself. This is what you've most likely already seen 1,001 different tutorials about. Most people, I believe, use Telegram at the start for their OpenClaw. And if you're going to use Telegram, you're going to need this thing called BotFather. So it's telegram.me/BotFather. It's just to install some sort of bot to have some sort of communication possible. If you set it up the right way, it will be back and forward instead of just push only. But it of course explains it right here as well. As we go back, Telegram is the simplest way to get started. Register a bot with BotFather and get going. But as of this point, every single thing here is just as simple as reading whatever it asks you and going through those steps. And that's basically it. Right now, all it does is if you answer like 3 or 4 more questions about Telegram, it'll lead you to a local host where you've got your OpenClaw bot running forever and ever and ever. And now you can just start playing around with it because you've officially launched it. These were all the steps. It's now running on your local model. You've got everything that you wanted without it now needing to access anything else. You can ask it, hey, what can you do? Summarize my recent sessions, all these different things. Just start playing around with it. As you can see from the top middle here, it's using my own local model, Gemma 426 that I've got on my device. So again, it's not going to be sending my information to the cloud. And I'd say anything beyond this is more of an advanced tutorial rather than just how to set it up, because I think this was already overcomplicated for something really simple. Like installing OpenClaw is a matter of a minute or 2. Making sure it's running on your own local model adds another, 3 minutes or something like that. And just kind of going through the steps by explaining some side parts adds another 3 minutes or so. I think in total, this whole process, without downloading, those parts take a bit of time. Takes you probably around 15 minutes to set up. And right now you can go into the more advanced tutorials about what exactly you could use it for, how to set up some specific flows deeper. Because I think this right here, how to run it on your own local model and stuff like that is already valuable enough. If you guys have more tutorials, do let me know with a little comment down below. Happy to oblige. And that was about it for this little video. I think it was pretty cool. Happy to be able to show you. And I'll see you guys again in another one, hopefully somewhere tomorrow.